AI has a huge problem coming. It's running out of data.
On a data wall.
You're gonna hit some sort of data wall.
Have heard of the data wall.
That's right, the data wall. It's a growing reality that all that data that has been collected to train powerful AI models is running out. And that's a problem because in most cases, in order to make better models, we need more data. And nobody knows exactly when this will happen, or do they? No more data, March 25th. So lots of AI teams are entering into big money deals with content owners to get their hands on that sweet, sweet data. But sadly, you as a person ain't seen that money. So we need a change. A way to keep our data private, but allow it to be used for AI training and allow users to get paid for uses of that data. I'm talking about Vana, and I'm talking about an open protocol for AI data sovereignty. And since it's the first of its kind, that's probably a whole lot of words you never heard together. But luckily, I have this white paper here and my bed over there. So it's time to get in the sheets with the Vana white paper. Like all good white papers, we start with a bit of a history lesson. So, in the early days of the internet, they knew as it grew, we would have more and more and more and more personal data. But they believed that the solution was just to find innovative ways to store that data with the person who created it. And the MIT Media Lab took it to a whole nother level by creating wearable computing devices, which, looking at the photo of them, you just have to wonder, why didn't they take off? I mean, these are definitely the cyberpunk Apple Vision Pros we all wanted. But the year is not 1997, so we all know how the story really went. As the applications we used moved to the cloud, so did our data. And then someone in some conference room had the idea. I think we could sell this data to make ads. Then in that same conference room, a few years later, they had the idea. I think we can sell this data to train AI models. And so the nightmare began. Our personal data started being used to train models that we had no say or incentive to. Until. What I liked about this white paper is that it's pretty open about the fact that Vana is a part of a larger story in the world of data sovereignty. It mentions projects like Urbit, which is a P2P network of personal server virtual machines, and Solid, which allows users to store their data in a decentralized data stores and basically control who gets access and when. And while both these concepts are solid, no pun intended, you might not have heard of them because they have struggled with wider adoption. The white paper goes on in saying that Vana has just something special about it that makes it different from the other two I just spoke about. So Bitcoin brought us trustless value transfer, and Ethereum brought us programmable state transitions, and Vana is bringing us programmable data ownership. It does it in three different ways: the architecture, economics, and application. Starting with the architecture, things start to get really personal really fast in the white paper. And I'm talking about personal servers. These are maintained by the user and can be hosted on your local machine, a client-side device, or if you really have someone you trust, a third-party provider. They handle everything from data encryption, access controls, and communication with data liquidity pools, or DLPs for short, which is our next topic. You see, data is valuable in volume, so DLPs are the coordination layer pooling the data while still maintaining individual sovereignty. Data is also only valuable when it's valid, so the DLPs handle enforcing data validation rules before it goes on to be used for computation. And where does that computation happen, you ask? You are asking that, right? Well, it happens in secure enclave, trusted execution environments, or TEEs. Oh, it gets me every time. This keeps the data private and valid for processing. This is also where the data validation occurs, like ownership verification, quality control, and uniqueness check to make sure that there aren't any duplicates. So moving on to the economics. Unlike this video whose value only goes up every time you share it, so don't forget to share it, the value of data goes down every time the more you share it. If anyone can get it, who would pay? So Vana solves this double spend problem with data by a combination of the privacy persevering tech we already talked about, and since Vana is fully EVM compatible, powered by Ethereum, it allows for both the data and economic operations to be linked. So now you might be asking, but you said you were going to get paid. Well, you are. See, while Vana has a native token for network operations, each DLP has its own token. And this allows for greater flexibility because different types of data is more valuable than others. For instance, my public tweets that just say GM are probably far less valuable than my private DMs, which may or may not also say GM. Users then pay fees for buying access to this data, and to set pricing models, DLPs function as data DAOs, which is a collective of the data owners. So all the GMers can get together and negotiate the price of the GM dataset, if they really wanted to. And what's really cool about this is we don't have to just talk about ridiculous examples or just examples in the white paper, because there are actually already data DAOs out there, like YKYR, which is an extension that captures your web activity, like engagement patterns and search queries. And there's also Diffusion Social Truth, which is a collection of private Telegram chats. There's also Voogle, which is a data set for movement and travel history. And you can find more of these data sets on the Data Hub at the link below. And I know all of this sounds creepy until you realize all this data is kept private and you get paid for it. Win-win. But all this is useless unless the application of training AI models is there. Applications can be accessed data in 3 ways. Directly, where we can create new personalized AI applications by requesting data from specific users through a Vana identity that has their entire data history with them, like a luggage full of data. Through the integrations with DLPs, through standardized APIs, or through model consumption by using pre-trained models from DLPs and paying per call, which in turn goes to the data contributors. Well, that's Vana. It's the first open protocol for AI data sovereignty. Check it out yourself in the white paper on the site. I'm gonna go get some sleep now. Yeah.